Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the channel, Wider Perspective. So, I wanted to talk about, and I'm addressing my fellas. Fellas, have you ever wondered, for all my pretty successful fellas, you may have graduated high school, after high school, went to college, and got a degree in what you went to college for, and was even better, lucky enough to be able to land a career in what you went to college for and graduated college for, your field of study, that is. Now, on behalf of my highly successful fellas, have you ever noticed how, and I don't know if it's just with me or not, some women, instead of them cheating on a man, okay, they may happen to be either in a long-term relationship with a man, and the man may be able to pretty much give her whatever she may want or desire. She may never ever have to worry about struggling. But fellas, for all my answer this for all my highly educated and highly successful fellas, why is it that, once again, because I pay close attention to a whole lot of things, I am very observant when I'm usually out and about. Because you could catch a lady who may happen to be just as highly successful and educated as you, and she may happen to be in a car with a man. Instead of the man driving, he could be on the passenger side, and most of the time. And this guy could have a black and mild hanging from out of his mouth, could have on a fitted hat, could be heavily covered in tattoos, or if he won't have use a black and mild in his mouth, he could be usually high. And not only that, to make matters even worse, that same guy could not even be able to do hardly anything. I do mean hardly do anything for her. He could be a straight up bum. Yet it's still that same woman with this so-called bum could have a whole man at home who could be able to provide for her, who could be able to take her on expensive and lavish trips, not just anywhere to any state or city in the U.S., but could be able to fly her first class all over the world whenever she desired. Only for her to be seeing another guy on the side who is the complete opposite, who can't offer nothing to her except for good sex every once in a while. Now, I get that being one reason why, she may choose him over the guy who she's already went, the same guy who she's went, who could be able to pretty much give her the world. But eventually you will get tired of having sex with somebody, or being with somebody for sex, if it's no substance, especially if that person is not help you contribute in the case or the event of either a rainy day, so to speak, or an emergency. But yet and still, there are so many women who would rather either leave a good man or a wholesome man, a man who's never been in any kind of trouble, never been in trouble when the law doesn't have any kind of felonies, misdemeanors, none of that. He's just all about living an ordinary life. He hardly ever goes to the club or to the night scene. He's just pretty much a square, a hard-working brother who believes in doing things the right way. These are the same types of guys who almost have to hunt down women, have to force women nowadays, especially black men. We have the worst on behalf of the highly successful black men, highly successful, highly educated black men. They get it worse. I would say my group of men or my race get it worse than any other race of men. Am I right or wrong, for all my black brothers? And for some of you who may be brand new to my channel, because I notice how nobody hardly has been watching my content. I guess I just need to keep on posting more and more content on this channel. And I could give you another case in point. If you, some of you who may like to look at a lot of black movies on behalf of the the platform that is the streaming platform Tubi, and I do love Tubi. Even if a lot of the black movies aren't some of the best or may not have the best cinematography, I'm trying to say, there's this one particular movie when a guy by the name of Kamal Smith, who happened to be one of the main stars in that movie, and it's a sequel as well, Good Man and Good Man 2. And in the first one, he had a love interest. I believe her real name is Ebony K. Williams. I know for a fact, he played the character Ethan. I forgot where her actual character's name was in the movie. Anyway, Ethan, aka Kamal Smith, happened to be a highly successful, very career-oriented brother. A guy who didn't get into any trouble, hardly, didn't have a felony, none of that. And this is in a nutshell. I'm not trying to go and spoil the whole entire movie. Anyway, so he happens to meet this chick. I believe, once again, her real name is Ebony K. Williams. Once again, forgive me for forgetting her name, her character name in the movie. Anyway, he happens to meet her while she was in a restaurant. And it just so happened she was using a card, either debit or credit card, to get what she wanted, whatever she ordered, only for her card to be declined and her to get pretty frustrated about it. So he ended up paying for whatever her card was declined for her order. They get to know each other, get to exchange either social media handles or phone numbers, but eventually become serious. Then there's this one particular scene throughout the very end, leading more so towards the very end of the movie, whereas he comes home from, I believe, a trip on behalf of his career. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was pertaining to his career that he was involved with or in his career field. Okay, after coming back home from that trip, he happens to hear some knocking upstairs, a headboard knocking. It just so happened he opened the door and found out that his love interest, who he fell deeply in love with and thought would be someone who he could put all his love, loyalty, and trust in, happened to be in bed, was intimate. In other words, when a guy who happened to be a felon, and this guy went by the name Chaos in the movie. And as soon as the guy named Ethan, Kamal Smith, once again happened to spot them in the bed, he just broke down in tears. And this applies to, that is, and excuse me for stuttering, but this movie not apply to real life situations where women always, no matter how good some women may have it while being either in long-term relationships, whether they may have either a live-in boyfriend or a husband, and a husband or boyfriend who could be able to always provide for them anytime they may desire. Is this not a well-known fact? And how what you see portrayed in movies actually is part of real life situations, on behalf of how so many women who have it good, who have guys who could be able to do pretty much anything for them, always provide for them without them having to always be in poverty or suffer, would rather leave or cheat on an upstanding, wholesome, good man, when a man who's usually either toxic or a man with nothing to offer to them, except for, in most cases, good sex, and that's pretty much it for the most part. And due to the simple fact of how some women just look at that as a turn on, you being a toxic man, only for them to end up very heartbroken, in some cases in the long run, after falling for that toxic man after cheating on their good man, so to speak, with a toxic man. and wanting to lead a toxic man to go back to, in some cases, the good or upstanding, I'm trying to say wholesome man. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, especially my men who may have experienced this same kind of ordeal that I just mentioned. Make sure you comment to let me know. Make sure you also like this video. Make sure you share this video. And last but not least, subscribe to the channel. I'm out.